Well, Ken Boudelaire.
Yep, we're live. Hey, good evening, everybody. Brian here with We Believe Team Hangout Thursday, 10/16/2014. Wow, it's almost halfway. It's over halfway through October already. We're getting close and closer to holiday season, and as we all know, that is a beautiful time of the year for people in our profession. So, as usual, we have the one and only comparable Scott Small. Scott, why don't you hop out and say hello and.
Oh, hey, is my microphone working? There we go. I wasn't sure if I was muted or not. As you can see, you don't have to be a technical genius to make this work. And Brian and I was just talking actually before the broadcast here. Both of us are on our way to Orlando next week, and one good thing that they're going to be doing here is that for those of you that for one reason or another can't make Orlando, you're going to have the opportunity to actually watch it live. And I don't know for sure what they're doing. I mean, I've heard the rumors just like everybody else here, but basically the things that they're going to be doing are talking about some new products, a blog that really works, that'll actually be something that'll create results and give you the ability to put things on it and generate leads and actually be on the first page of Google. And I know that Brian will probably talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but they're really paying attention here. They're doing things to really ramp things up here and make it so that we all have the best ability to get success here and really take the tools that we have and have them create results. Because the bottom line is, if you do something, you want to have a result and you want to have something to show for it. And certainly as we learn the business and we do things to grow our business, there's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be changes, there's always going to be things that are happening, and some of it for the good, some of it, sometimes, they try things and it doesn't work, but, the good thing is at least they're trying, they're always coming up with new ideas and ways to really generate connections with people, and that's what we expect to be hearing about when we go down to Orlando. And the nice thing is you can watch it from home because they have a simulcast set up so that you'll really be able to participate. And I know actually Brian and I were talking earlier about some of the things that you'll be able to actually participate from home as though you were really there. So that's what I got, and both Brian and I are going to be having a little bit of playtime in Florida before the conference, and then from there we'll get loaded up with all the information and all the energy in the room of just actually being there live. So welcome everybody.
Thank you for that, Scott. And Scott's right. There is power being there live and seeing everything live. But for those of you that just can't make it, now at least you have an opportunity where you can stay in the loop and really kind of understand what it is that's going on, the new blogging system, and just keep yourself in the loop. They are offering two different packages. One good thing about it is if you are going to be in Orlando, they're not going to roll out the new blog, and let me actually get into that just a little bit, and then I'll talk about how the company's rolling it out. But Empower Network, when it was first formed 3 years ago, actually it'll be 3 years on Halloween, and it's hard to believe it's only been 3 years, and they paid out $100 and some odd million. I think it's like 120 or something. Results not typical. Please see the income disclaimer at the bottom of the page, or go to empowernetwork.com/income.php. So with that out of the way, so the company was really built on a three-phase principle: blog daily, tell others, get money. And Empower Network had one of probably the best authority blog site in the world. What an authority blog site or an authority site means is that if I have a site on that authority domain, or Scott does, or anybody else does, Google sees that as one big, huge site. So when Scott puts up a blog, or I put up a blog, or Ken Boudelaire puts up a blog, or Leslie puts up a blog, Google sees that as new content for everybody and anybody that's using that Empower Network domain. So when somebody would first start with us, I think at our heyday, we were probably about the 50th most popular site or 30th most popular site in the United States. We were generating, I think it was like 55 million unique visitors a month or some crazy number. And so what would happen is I would put up a blog post. Google would see that we're such a high-ranked site and would instantaneously index and put my blog towards the top of the page. So there was actually times where you could put in certain keywords, and it would be Empower Network blog, Empower Network blog, Empower Network blog. Literally, the top 10 would be people's Empower Network blogs. So fast forward to last October, they decided to create their standalone blogging program. And they changed the algorithm from, not to get too technical, it was a sub-root domain to a root domain. So what happened is we kind of lost that authority. So when I put up a blog, I didn't help Scott as far as his ranking because Google started seeing each one of our blogs as a separate site. So when basically my blog went from the 33rd most popular site in the country to, the 23rd millionth most popular site in the country because my traffic, basically my blog was getting ranked on my traffic and my traffic alone. So now fast forward to today, that now that they're going to be going back to the WordPress platform, that we will again start getting a joint ranking for the authority site. And this time they're really doing it right. Before, the old blog didn't really have a lot of functionality. I think the only tool was an SEO tool. Now they're going to have plugins. And if you don't know what a plugin and how that works on a blog, it's kind of like an app for your phone. So for an example, you can install a plugin on your blog that acts like an app on your phone. So now all of a sudden your phone isn't just for making phone calls, it's also, a mini computer. And you can go onto Google with an app, or you can go, check the weather with your app. Plugins work kind of the same way. So you could plug in, let's say you're writing about the gold prices. You could actually have a plugin on that article that would show gold prices in real time. So now all of a sudden you have your article and then you have the widget there that's showing gold prices in real time. So as they're reading, they can watch in real time the price of gold going up and down or left and right or whatever it's doing. So that's basically how plugins work. So how Empower Network is structuring this launch is they're not going to open it up to everybody all at once. Because let's face it, you have 30,000 people go rush into a site or a new blogging system or a new thing, you're going to have technical issues. So anyone that's in Orlando, they're going to allow beta access to, which means that because Scott and I are going to be in Orlando, we're going to get beta access, which means we'll be one of the first ones that can use it, try it, test it out, see if it's working, have input, that kind of thing. How they're doing the live streams, and don't 100% quote me on this, is they're going to have two separate live streams. One is $97 and one is $297 for the VIP live stream. So if you get the live stream, you can watch all the footage and see everything going on in real time and see what's going on in the event. The $297 is going to get you VIP access to be a beta tester for the new blogging platform. So I think that that's the structural breakdown of that. Again, not trying to get too technical with you guys about the blogging and how the blogging works, but this is really going to make it so we can, again, start generating a lot of organic traffic using our blogs. Okay, so this will be a chance for us all to kind of rewind our watch, get plugged into how Empower Network's really structured, and their goal is to be the #1 for-profit blogging system in the world, which, believe it or not, it's not hard. It really isn't, because right now everybody can use WordPress, but WordPress, if anyone that's ever had a real blog, can start getting really expensive. All right, because it's kind of like apps on your phone. For plugins, let's say for WordPress, if you have your own, you can get a WordPress site for free, but then you got to pay to host it. Now you got to pay to have somebody build it unless you build it yourself. Now you got to SEO it or pay somebody to SEO it. Now you want plugins. Plugins can get, they can run anywhere from $1 a month to $1,000 a month on plugins. So blogs, even though they're great, if you're doing your own, can start to get expensive. So Empower Network's going to have it so it's for $25. You have your blog, it's hosted, it has SEOs, it has all the plugins that you'll need from a marketing perspective. That'll all be included with it, no extra charges. So for the $25 a month, basically you can now use your blog to do whatever it is you do, whatever it is you want to talk about. You don't have to talk about your business per se. I mean, you can talk about recipes. You can talk about, you know, if you're into cars, sports, politics, whatever you want to talk about to start generating traffic, and then let the banners and the you know the things on the site do the selling for you. So that's what I got with the blog. I mean, I know that I'm going to be heading down to Florida. I think on Monday is when I plan on getting there. I think we're going to head out Sunday and get there Monday and spend the week. So should be good times. We will be doing some stuff as a team. For those of you that will be there, probably sometime Saturday night, maybe in correlation with the iPass event that Saturday night too. So that's what I got, Scott. Why don't you hop out and throw some stuff in there? Muted. You're muted.
Ah, there we go. You see my mouth moving, you don't hear anything going. And you know what, Brian, what I was saying is you hit on a lot of good points. And, you know, certainly I'm not technical. I'm not, you know, don't claim to be technical. And, you know, all I know is that with the old blog, at least you had the ability to get out there and have yourself be recognized. And, you know, people would have interaction and have the ability to connect with you. And when the blog was changed, that went away. But even then, with the old blog, it was you really had to know a little bit about some of the technical stuff. And one of the things that I'm hearing that they're talking about, which I think is going to be really exciting, is that the blog is going to be set up in a way so that, you know, a lot of things are going to be automated for you, and that's going to make it much easier. So, you know, now what they've done is they've gone from, you know, a really good blog, and then they had one that, you know, had some challenges. And now they're going back to one that really addresses some of the technical setups and some of the things that people have had to use as a learning curve to be able to get to results. And when they do something like that, you know, they've really got an eye on, you know, making this to be the simplest way to actually get the word out, connect with people, and generate what they call organic leads. And organic leads are ones that people find, they're free. They're the ones where people find you on the internet, and you know, by using that information, like Brian was saying, you really can use almost any topic and connect with people, and then use, you know, all the things that are on the blog to really open up the dialogue, or have people reach out to you to try to either get more information or, you know, connect with you in a way where they ultimately may, you know, step forward into your business or whatever it is that you're using your blog for. So that, you know, really is something that's going to be exciting, because, you know, it was something that was needed, and it's something that they're addressing. And then the other thing that they've talked about, which once again we don't have all this inside information, we know basically what you guys know, is that they've got a mobile app that's going to be out there that will, you know, be something to really have an interface between where you are at any time and the internet. So, you know, you can answer, follow up with leads, you can do things really to have your business totally on your phone. And, you know, that's something else that they have attempted to do in the past, and now they really are putting the things in place to have that happen. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on here. This is a time to pay attention. And then one of the other things that we actually were talking about as well, or Brian just started to open the conversation, is that iPass is, they're going to have an event down there Saturday night. There's going to be some kind of correlation. It'll be with the leaders of iPass, and there was just, if you haven't seen it, there was a video that came out today from iPass, and they're talking about, you know, having some extra landing pages and having some other things in place, better interface with, you know, being able to track the people that are in your organization. The good thing about iPass as well is they have their eye toward the future in improving things. And, you know, what they want to do is get those onboarding videos to be a little tighter. They say that they're going to have some professional production to go into that. So once again, you've got, you know, iPass, which is stepping it up and creating all kinds of things to make that help get better results. And then, as we know, it's totally integrated into Empower, and the real bottom line of what they're putting together is a combination between iPass and Empower, and the two of them really there seems to be a great synergy there, and they're really working together. So this is really, what we saw with iPass was a good start, and that really is just what it was. It was a start, and they realize that there's room for improvement. But I can say that it certainly has turned into an additional revenue stream for me. And basically what I'm seeing with what's going on in iPass is I'm making about enough money to pay for my marketing. So that's a perfect scenario. So now you've got your marketing taken care of. You've got improvement system. You've got the integration that's going to be really something where they're working hand in hand with Empower. And ultimately what we're looking to do here is give you the best ability, or what they say they're here to do is give everyone the best ability to grow their business without having to go through the long learning curve, without having to be the technical maven, to have to really spend the time to get to the point where you have a lot of skills. They want to make this so that people can get results fast, and that was the thing that I heard most through this whole presentation that they did last night. I think they're going to do a follow-up tonight, and there are good things happening here. So iPass sent out an update today. There's going to be a webinar tonight with through Empower, and they're going to be going through some of the features and some of the things that they're rolling out. So once again, there's a lot of buzz here. There's a lot of excitement, and they're really doing things to step forward here and make things happen. So once again, if you can't go to Orlando, and we look forward to seeing each and every one of you that are going to be there. For those of you that aren't going to be there, make sure you get that live stream and watch it, because you're going to see them rolling out things that you just want to get that information so you really can understand what it is that they're doing here. So I think that's a good thing, and the direction that they're going is really paying attention for setting up to put them in a place where they can really grow in the future. And one of the things they've also talked about is landing pages, presentations, funnels on the Empower side. So we've got both iPass and Empower really working on stepping things up here and making the whole presentation, the whole funnel, the whole system that much more efficient, and really with an eye towards getting better results. So it's good to see that they're doing the things that they have to do to really put things in place for the longer term. So that's what I got.
Thank you for that, Scott. And Scott, you hit on a really good point there about using iPass as that separate income stream to ramp up, to offset his marketing. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing. Is I'm spending my iPass money into marketing to get more people in the iPass, because the ones that do upgrade to Empower now become pure profit. Okay, and I'm also getting to the point now where I'm at, I think I figured it out, I'm about $1,400 a month residual now in iPass alone. You know what I mean? So that'll give me a good cushion on marketing money. So for an example, and it doesn't seem like right now there's not really any holdback money going on, and they're paying pretty quick, within 10 days or so that money's getting released. So I can actually have a good understanding of, okay, well, what do I got coming in next week, so I can start planning my advertising dollars today for next week, which is, a good thing, because now is really the time you want to start putting together an action plan on what you're going to start doing come the holiday season to really ramp up your business. Because, folks, we just made it through the summertime. The summertime is the hardest time in this industry. People aren't in front of computers. There's really no money things going on. There's no taxes due. There's no holidays, big money holidays, or any of that stuff going on. So, and the economy, let's face it, is getting better. So those are three things that kind of matter for our industry. Is people join this kind of business at first trying to figure out a way to make extra money. It's not trying to quit their job. It's not trying to, oh, well, let me join an online business so I can quit my job. And most people, the average person, is just looking to make an extra $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month to help make the bills a little easier. And then, holiday season comes, people are always overspending. They're running credit card debt up, buying presents that they can't really afford, but you have to. I mean, that's just our society. So what happens is people need a way to make some extra money before that credit card starts coming in, before those bills start rolling in, which is why they start looking. The weather starts getting colder, people are inside more, using the computer more, surfing the internet. So now is really the time you want to start taking some action, figuring, okay, what is my game plan for November, December, January, February to start rolling traffic into my business? Okay, because the new blog is going to be great. It's going to allow us to generate some free traffic again, which is always a nice thing. But you really need to focus on where can you get traffic flowing into your site to start creating new sales. One second. Ooh, sorry about that. Throat got dry. How can you generate that traffic to start creating new sales? Because if you don't have leads flowing into your AWeber or your GetResponse or flowing to your landing pages, you have no business. Your business ain't working. If you have a day, let's say tomorrow you look at your AWeber and you got 0 subscribers. You look at your GetResponse and you got 0 subscribers. That means that is one day that you had absolutely nobody interested in joining your business. And really, you don't need 1,000 leads a day or 500 leads a day or 50 leads a day. Set a goal of, hey, I'm going to get 5 a day or 6 a day or 10 a day or whatever you feel comfortable with, and go out there and make it happen. So for me, for an example, my goal right now is 3 people joining my iPass a day. That's my goal. So if all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock at night and I only got 2 people that joined that day, I'm going to go do something to generate some traffic. I'm going to go to my list and send out a broadcast and say, hey, come back and take a look. My name's Brian. Thank you for being a subscriber. We got some great stuff going on. Here's a couple of new things we got coming at you. Now's a great time to get going. Here's a link. Get started. And, I got a pretty big list, so usually I can do that and usually generate at least a sale. Because I don't want to overplay my list, and I don't pummel them every day with the broadcasts and 3-4 times a day. I'm kind of a little more selective now, because I want to use it. So if all of a sudden I don't have my third sale or my second sale, I'm gonna go to my list and say, hey, come back, take a look. Here's some sort of incentive. Hey, I'll give you 30 minutes of my time to join my business today for the next 2 people that join. Some sort of incentive, something to say, hey, look, get yourself going. Because that list is money. Believe it or not, that list is money. And it's not just money you could make, it's money you spent. Like for me, every one of those leads, I paid for 90% of those leads. So that's money I spent. So now my goal is to use that list to get money back out of it. So you really got to start looking at your list, start looking at ways to start generating some traffic, start getting that list built up, because now all of a sudden it's an ATM machine. Scott, I'm sure Scott's the same way. I mean, he's got a big list. So, I mean, for us, that's when you start getting into the size of the list that I have or Scott has, it's an ATM machine. I assure you it's an ATM machine. So, but the goal is to get yourself from where you are today to where your list is big enough where you can do it like that. Okay? So every day you got to be generating just a little bit of traffic. Somebody saying, hey, I want more information. If you got 0 subscribers today, you've done no work. All right? Your business has done no work for you. So you need to figure out a way to go out there and say, hey, I need to get some traffic flowing, and I need to get it flowing now. And I'm not saying go out and spend money. I'm not saying, oh, come to me and say, hey, Brian, I need to buy traffic. I'm not saying that. There's ways you can generate traffic for free. Okay? There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's LinkedIn, there's Pinterest, there's a million ways you can generate traffic for free. But you got to go learn how to do it. All right? If you're not generating traffic today, don't get down on yourself. Say, hey, well, tomorrow I'm going to start learning how I can generate traffic. If you got no budget for marketing, don't get down on yourself. Say, starting tomorrow, I'm going to start learning how to generate some free traffic, because I have no marketing budget. So I need to learn how to generate traffic. All right? Because we got plenty of training out there for you guys. Between Empower Network, between iPass, between Prosperity Team, between We Believe Team, between Google, YouTube. I mean, there's a million sources of knowledge out there of ways that you can go out there and generate free traffic for your business. You just need to go out and learn it. Okay, so not trying to harp on anybody or anything else, but now is the time that you really need to get yourself and kick yourself in the butt and say, I need to get this moving. Because the next 3 or 4 months will probably determine whether you're still in this business or not. Because 3 or 4 months from now, you can be, earning amazing money, or you can be earning no money. It's completely up to you. Because the next 3 or 4 months, you're going to have the ability to earn pretty much whatever you want to, as long as you put in the effort behind it. So, as far as Orlando, the events are always awesome. I'm telling you, there's power to be in that room. So, not too late. It's not too late. If you can get there, get there. Because I'm telling you, being there and being in the room, there's power in it. So, plus we have fun. We always have fun. So that's what I got, Scott. Why don't you hop out for a little while? We'll try to keep this short tonight, maybe another 10 minutes or so.
Well, thank you for that, Brian. And the other thing that that we have is, as Brian had mentioned, and he's been very good about bringing sources together for leads. And for those of you who are looking to find ways to have traffic go to your iPass, or as you're learning how to do the new blog that's coming out, you certainly can use Training Wheels and get some traffic going there. And that's, to be honest with you, that's really how I've built most of my business, is through paid traffic, because I look at it as a business. So it's an investment. And I figure if I'm, the more people I can get looking at what it is that we have, the more I can turn that into, growing my business, having people, get the information. Because what we're seeing really very quickly out of the box is that iPass is really doing a job. I'm seeing now some of the renewals. I'm seeing residual income off of iPass, and that's certainly something that is making iPass a little more attractive, because it helps me, as I said before. I'm going to pay for my marketing through iPass, and they're really paying attention, because if you've been watching or following what they're doing with iPass, they're always talking about what they can do to improve it. And I hear that they've got something where there's going to be some professionals that are going to be really tightening up those presentation videos that people go through when they first get started. They really are reinvesting back into the system, and that's something that really will make a difference that can help. So once again, if you're putting your business together and you're moving it forward, do something to get some leads. Either get some leads from Brian, figure out a way to do something for free. You can even message people on Facebook. That's another thing. Is just send them to the information, have them look at the presentation. Making a very casual conversation can be a way to do things. Just merely asking people who are already in another business if they've got ways to market, or if they're open to looking at a way to market. And with what we're going to be rolling out with the blog, that's going to give us the ability to do that as well. So what I can definitely recommend is staying plugged into the things that are coming. We've got a lot of good changes, and really truly the end of the year is a great time. Most people think that it's not a good time in our business, and what I can tell you is last year my biggest month was October. This year I had a very big month in October, or excuse me, September and October. October's shaping up to be just fine, but September, excuse me, was my best month. And then what happens is you do see a little bit of a people being a little bit distracted between, let's say, Thanksgiving and Christmas. But once those bills start coming due, people start thinking about how they're going to pay for them. They've spent the money. Now they want to really reflect on where they're at for the year, where they're going to be next year at this time, and that's where all the New Year's resolutions and things that people start focusing on in their future, they really stand back and do an assessment of what's worked and what hasn't toward the end of the year. So rather than take your foot off the accelerator, this is really the time to really position yourself and keep consistent in your marketing, if not ramping it up. So this is a time where people really start to feel that they're getting distracted. But what I'm going to tell you is don't get distracted, because that's really something that you can use to your advantage, because while other people are letting that become a distraction, this is the time to really put your nose to the grindstone and get consistent in what you're doing, and that's really how your results can come. And one thing I know that Donna's put out there, that she does have room in her room for anybody that's looking to do something last minute for Orlando, and certainly that's something, for next to nothing, what's that, $100 for the week. So if you thought about going to Orlando, this is the time to make your plans, and it's not too late to get in and really take advantage of it. I think it's going to be an interesting weekend. They're going to be rolling out some new things. They're really, there's been an evolution here. Jay Cron started with us about a year ago. He certainly had some influence on things that have been going on. And I think, now what's happening is they're really clarifying and focusing what it is that we're going to be doing. So, once again, I know we're talking about the event, but what I'm telling you is the benefit of the information, the benefit of being in the room is really where your results can come from. And, for those of you who have been at events, you know what it is. And it's something that really you can't describe, because some of the biggest shifts that I've ever seen, for me personally, have come from events. And that's where the results can come from. Another thing, I know that I touched on this last time I was on.
Scott, let me interject there for a second.
Sure.
Guys, just about events, it's not just business revelations that you'll have at these events. Here's a great example. In Miami, I was a smoker for 30 years. Probably, well, not quite that long. For about 27 years, I was a smoker. And made the revelation to quit smoking in Miami. And here I am going on 10.5 months smoke-free. So it's not just business revelations you're going to have there. You're going to have life-altering moments if you're by being in the room and actually being there and staying focused and listening to what people have to say, because the stories, you don't know what story is going to resonate with you when it's going to resonate with you, and that's all it takes, is maybe that one story to change not only your business but change your life. So I just wanted to throw that in there, Scott. Sorry.
No, thank you for that. And you know what, Brian, I just posted in the chat. Well, congratulations on doing that, because I know that we were sitting together in the event, and you said, you know what, I'm going to quit smoking. And I know that you were running out and taking breaks, and all through the event. And to see that you actually did it and you stuck with it, I think that's really commendable. And a lot of it is because you're in the room. Shifts happen because you're absorbing the energy. There's things that you start thinking about. And one thing that I wanted to maybe just remind everybody where your results can come from, because this isn't only just about taking action. It's taking action with belief and taking action with a focus on your goals. And interestingly enough, I had set a goal for October 15th. I just picked that as a date. I'm not quite sure why, because usually you talk about doing something at the end of the month or what have you. But I just had set that as a goal. And when I set it, it was 90 days ago, and I had no idea how I was going to get to it. And it, really, I pushed my boundaries just a little more than I had expected to. And what, not knowing exactly how, but I did the exercise that they talked about in the first module of the 15K, and it's a very powerful exercise. And for those of you who have not really done it, in the way that Dave describes, I really highly recommend doing it, because what you're going to find is by focusing on your goals and doing them with conviction and doing it consistently, they can absolutely come to you. Well, crazy thing is, I actually hit my goal, and I went $1,000 past it. And when I set the goal, I really had that little voice in the back of my head going, all right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to focus on it, and I'm going to be in the process of getting to my goal, because how you talk to yourself is very important, because you can totally sabotage yourself in the ways that you're doing things. But I went out there with purpose, and I went out there with a focus. And every morning I would take my time and I would do the visualizing and really use all the senses and the things and the ways that he describes it. And the crazy thing is, it happened. I went past the goal, and I actually tonight have to set a new goal because here it is, a day passed, and I've been thinking a little bit about what it is that I want to set as a goal. And for those of you that have the 15K, this is really a good time to go and really, if you're not working toward a goal, or if you're not in a place where you've got a plan for going through the holiday and just past, this is a really good time to step back and say, all right, here's where I'm at, here's where I want to be, here's what I want to accomplish, here's the things that I want to, you can make it monetary, you can, really set something up. Mine was monetary, I'll tell you that, but the other thing that you really have to keep in mind, and I know there's exercises on that, but when you're setting that goal, it has to be something that's really tangible. So you don't want to make a negative goal, and this is not a goal setting talk, but I'm just putting this out there because all too often we think about, well, I want to be out of debt, or I want to do this or that. What you want it to be is something that's totally tangible that you can really put your hands on and know that when you've accomplished that goal, you can really visualize what it is. So what I want to just put out there to all of you is, if you don't have and you haven't gone through that 15K formula, this is a really great time to set a goal and really get focused on what's going on, because there's a lot of exciting things going on. There's a lot of good things coming in the future here, and what you want to be doing is setting yourself up, both by focusing on where you're going and also doing the things to get there. And believe me, it wasn't like I just sat back and just magically waited for it to happen. I kept moving forward, and you could do the same thing. And I'd love to see all of you hitting the goals that you have and really accomplishing what it is that you come here for. So I would highly recommend doing that. And then the other thing that I've mentioned before is I'm consistently on the Think and Grow Rich call every Monday through Friday. It's at 10 o'clock. No, wait a minute, 9 o'clock Eastern. I have to do my time conversions properly because I don't want to tell you guys the wrong time. And there's a really good group of people there that are really doing what they call a mastermind, where they're all working together toward really focusing in on what it takes to become successful, and they're going through some principles. And they use basically Napoleon Hill as the focus of what they're studying. And interestingly enough, I mean, even though this stuff is going on 90 years ago or so, 80, 90 years ago, it still holds true because the principles are very solid, and really to focus on them is where it comes from. So this isn't just about taking action. This is taking action with a goal and doing it with the right mindset, and that's really where the results will come from. So just wanted to share that it is possible, and things really are coming together here, and you want to have yourself in that position to get those results. So that's what I've got. And the other thing is, I know that Dave is doing a webinar tonight after this. So certainly they're rolling out some of the things in the plugins, and they're going to be doing some demos on the blog itself. So make sure that you attend that. And I think they'll be talking about the simulcast and all the things that will be coming up for us. So that's what I've got. And I think we can wrap it up early tonight, Brian, unless you've got something else that you want to cover.
Yeah, just real quick, and yeah, we'll be wrapping up here real shortly. Scott was talking about goals. The two main things that I find that are important about goals is two things. Make them realistic. Sitting there saying, hey, I want to earn $100,000 over the next 30 days isn't realistic. So set a realistic goal and make it timely. Those are the two things that I recommend when you're making a goal is realistic and timely. Don't underestimate yourself. If you said, hey, look, I want to make $10,000 a month in 90 days from now, that's realistic and timely. Okay? So over the next 90 days, I want to be at $10,000 a month in 90 days. And then track your progress and keep tracking it, because it's, start breaking it down into smaller chunks. If you want to be a $10,000 earner, that means you got to be at, by the end of month 1, you should be at $3,300 a month. By the end of month 2, you should be at $6,600 a month. By the end of month 3, you should be at $10,000 a month. So, break it down into chunks, You know, and you can even break it down even further. Okay, to be a $3,000 a month person, you need to make $750 a week. So just start breaking it down and figuring out exactly what you got to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go. And you know, again, keep it realistic, keep it timely. For those of us that are going to be in Orlando, let's make sure that we all get together. If you could send Scott or I a message with the day you're arriving, that you plan on being in Orlando, and a phone number that we can get in touch with you. That way we can all exchange phone numbers and keep in touch, so we can make sure we're getting together. We like to sit together at the events. We'll go have lunches and dinners and stuff together. We'll do team outings, stuff like that together. So it will be a really, really good time. That's really all I got for tonight, folks. Is you know, again, go out there and just start taking some action. Really, that's all this business is. It's just taking action. You know, it's not a marathon. It's a sprint, or it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And you know, it's never too late to start taking action. You might be here for a day. You might have been here for a month. You might have been here for a year. Tomorrow can be the first day of your new business if you go out there and just take the action. So, like Scott said, we have Empower is doing a hangout at the top of the hour for affiliates. If you're a guest with us and are not on our team yet, feel free to click the links below and get yourself started with either Empower Network or with our iPass system. iPass is the marketing funnel for Empower Network, which is our profit maximizer. So that way you can get started with the person who invited you here tonight. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Not sure about next week for a hangout. I think we'll all be, Scott, myself, and a few others will be in Orlando. So just depending on what the schedule looks like, it will depend on whether we can actually do a hangout or not. So with that being said, I hope you guys all have a fantastic night, because you guys deserve it.
Good night, everybody.